Hi there, Roger Connect, President of Universal Accounting Center, today with Bill Brough from Bottom Line Bookkeeping and Tax. And Bill, you happen to actually be not only a practicing accounting and tax professional, but you also happen to be the primary contributor and author of our Professional Tax Preparer program. So we've got two things to discuss here. First of all, your business. Tell us a little bit about your start and what it is you have today.
Well, like quite a few people that I know, I actually got my start as a seasonal employee of H&R Block, and they're like the great farm club for bookkeepers and tax preparers everywhere. I had a sense almost as soon as I started working for them that I could do what they were doing and I could do it better. And so right from the get-go, I began on the side developing my own tax clientele. I'll tell you the truth, my first tax season, I had 6 clients. That is not a tax practice. That's just training wheels. But quickly that grew and changed, and a lot of that was because I was very aggressive about marketing. But during the period of time that I was an employee of Universal Accounting and working with them as a tax curriculum specialist, I coached the tax students. I also was the primary author of the tax course, the Professional Tax Preparer, or the PTP as we call it. And that took a good long time, a couple of years to really get that thing solid and on good footing. And while that was going on, I was still maintaining my tax practice on the side. It was seasonal, it was evenings and weekends. I had a cell phone that would take messages for me. It's not like you have to start with a lot of capital and invest a lot of your time in a tax practice. And I continued to do that as a side business for probably about 5 years while I still worked for Universal Accounting. And there came a year when I sort of just could tell, oh, this is getting out of control. This is probably my last year. I'm going to have to give Universal my 2-week notice at the end of the year. Because I just knew I couldn't keep doing both, and my practice wouldn't stop growing. And wouldn't you like to have a business that you don't know how to turn off the faucet, that it keeps growing? So I've been doing that now for about 13 years. I think this is my 14th tax year. And there is no feeling like being self-employed. There's no feeling like starting a business and knowing the only way you can lose your job is if you lay yourself off, and that's not going to happen. So there's a great feeling that goes with that, a huge amount of work that goes with that as well. I don't know if am I talking too much, by the way?
No, you're doing great. This is what they want to hear. They're your peers. This is great.
What I was going to say is that there's a point in your business where you kind of have to decide if you've got any sense of marketing or how to grow and how to attract new clients. There comes a time when you have to make a decision. And I know tax professionals who will just say, no, we aren't taking new clients right now, which I think is kind of whose idea was that? Nobody starts a business with the idea that they're not going to grow and that at some point they're going to have enough clients. And so I've never subscribed to that philosophy. So we feel like at Universal that about 200 or so clients, maybe 250, is as much as you can handle in one tax season, and that will just about consume you. And so then the next question becomes, am I going to grow beyond that point? And if I do, how am I going to do that? And really, honestly, the only way to do that is you have to hire somebody else. You have to have somebody else helping you do the tax returns, because you can't get them all done yourself by the deadline. It also means we do a lot more extensions than we used to do. I used to say, if you don't get it into me by the 1st of April, we'll do the best we can, but I don't think we'll be able to, finish by the October or the April 15th deadline. And that has proved to be not so much of a recommendation as just a hard deadline. It's just almost impossible to take somebody's tax information and have them get in line with all the other clients you're still working on and finish by the 15th of April. And so we have to have a team to do that, or it's not going to get done. And if that's the kind of business that you're looking to grow, then you've come to the right place. But the main thing that we would want you to know is that we've got experience doing that. We've got experience growing a tax practice from nothing, from 6 clients that first year to over 600 clients this year. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm by no means one of the big players on the block either.
Yeah, so one of the things that I think is key about this is one, you started with the intent of doing this part-time, doing it on weekends and evenings. You now have a thriving practice that's year-round,
Yeah.
and you're not turning away business, but you are very busy. And the one thing that I think is quite impressive is obviously you're taking these principles that you've learned over these many years and you've incorporated them in the Professional Tax Preparer program, designed to help you not only learn individual but also business tax returns with the intent of you doing the service and so much as growing your own business. So one last thing, what advice would you have to someone who's starting out or building their tax firm?
Okay, first of all, I would say that what you need to know is that as much as it sounds like it's a technical business, and it is, you need to know your stuff. Tax preparation in the end, or any business for that matter, if you're going to be an entrepreneur and the owner of the business, and especially if it's a business where you're dealing with the public, is not about how much you know about taxes, which is not to say that we don't know a lot, and we know that we need to, but people will say a lot of times, and this is laughable because it's not true, they'll say, wow, Bill, you're an accountant, huh? You must be really good with numbers. And the fact is, the numbers I deal with are add, subtract, multiply, divide. This is not something that you need to have a college degree in mathematics to handle. It really is simple math. So I just come back and I say, you know what? It's not really true, but what I am good with is people. And at the end of the day, my first advice is if you can make a connection with people, if you can make them feel comfortable, if you can make them relax in your office talking about things that are for the most part quite private and personal. They don't want the whole world to know about their income and their expenses. And nothing really in their lives, they might not think about it, you might not think about it, but nothing in their lives comes across your desk, or I should say nothing in their lives doesn't come across your desk when you're a tax preparer, because you will know when there's been a death in the family, you will know when there's been a divorce, you will know when somebody has graduated and moved on to college or something like that. All of those things factor into a tax return. And so when you are asking people to spill their guts about these things, you had better have the kind of personality where they can trust you and where they're confident in you. So the number one thing is don't get too hung up on those little details and forget to be a real person, somebody who's caring, somebody who's friendly, somebody who they'll trust.
I love that. I can't say enough what he just said, which is this is a people business. And first and foremost, you're working with people on such intimate things, such as you mentioned, divorces and deaths and graduations. I mean, there's changes in lives that actually impact their tax returns. So perfectly said. So often you hear from me, I'm glad you've had an opportunity to hear from Bill. The whole intent here is to help you understand that if it's about accounting, if it's about tax, it is universal. Look into the Professional Tax Preparer program as well as the other curriculum and see what you can do to move forward and get paid what you're worth as an accounting professional. And understand this, accounting success is universal. Take care, everybody.